In some ways, the players of instruments like the piano or the violin are lucky in that they can see all of the mistakes happening right in front of them. For single reed players, we can hardly see our instrument and much less what might be going on inside our mouths. This makes tonguing one of the trickiest things to learn and to teach, with misinformation running rampant. You get stories of people doing all sorts of unusual things to tongue, like tonguing with the sides of their tongue by rocking it from side to side, or creating throat motions that make it sound like the note is articulated without their tongue ever making it to the reed. Today, we're going to demystify the core tonguing technique and the articulation that is the kernel of achieving all others, that being legato tonguing. Hi, I'm Andrew from Clarinet Essential Technique. Before we go on, it's worth touching on why tonguing is important. As a student, I would spend many years doing everything I could to avoid tonguing notes. This is because I didn't know exactly how I was supposed to be tonguing, but mainly because I didn't understand what tonguing brought to music. Imagine trying to communicate without consonants. They make our words clear and give our sentences meaning. Articulations are the consonants of music. They give our notes clarity and let us communicate more meaning and character. Another purpose for articulation is that it gives a clearly defined start to our notes, which makes it easier for others to play perfectly together with us. Finally, just how a drum kit might give rhythmic energy and drive to a band, articulations can provide rhythmic energy even if we're playing solo. Say the syllable ta. What creates the T sound? Take a few moments to pause the video and see if you can figure it out. The T sound is created by the tip of our tongue touching the roof of our mouth and dropping down as we go ah. One important observation to make is that our air, or the R sound, must start before our tongue leaves the roof of our mouth. If we just move our tongue in our mouth without starting the air, we'd just be flapping it without making any noise. This movement is almost exactly the same as how we would tongue on a single reed instrument, except instead of the tip of our tongue touching the roof of our mouth, it's going to be touching towards the tip of the reed. To bring this to the instrument, we're going to do exactly the same tongue movement as when we said ta, except our tongue is going to start towards the tip of the reed, and instead of going ah, we're going to be blowing air. This is what it would look like without the instrument in our mouth. Remember, it's vital that our air starts just a moment before our tongue leaves the reed. Bringing it to the instrument sounds like this. Ta. Ta. At this stage, don't worry too much about the nature of the articulation. Just worry about hearing that clear t sound right at the start of your note. It's the difference between going ta or ha. Hopefully you can hear the difference. If you're hearing some squeaks when you try to tongue, there might be a few different causes for it. One of them might be that you're using too much of the front of your tongue when you're tonguing. So instead of curling your tongue up and going ta, 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 you might be using the front portion of your tongue and going da, da, da. Having this much of our tongue contact the reed can cause some squeaks. Another cause for it might be that the back of your tongue is a little bit too high up in your mouth. So instead of a syllable like da, 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 you might be saying dee, dee, dee. More like a he sort of vowel. Lifting the back of our tongue this high is one of the ways that we can create really high notes on the clarinet. So doing this when you're tonguing could be causing higher notes to come out than what you're intending. To fix this, imagine the vowel sound you were using when you were saying it and bring that same shape to the clarinet. Another thing you can think about is creating more space at the back of your mouth for a wide stream of air to travel through. As a single reed player, Most of the notes that we would play will be part of melodies. And just how we would connect the words of a melody up when we sing it, we should connect the notes up when we play it, even if we're tonguing. This is called legato tonguing. This is one of the trickiest techniques for people to learn because we need to keep blowing even while our tongue is moving in our mouth. If you think about it, we do this all the time when we're speaking. However, when we have the mouthpiece in our mouth, it starts to feel very unusual. Like our tongued note from before, we can learn a lot by saying this articulation out loud to ta, 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 ta. Notice that there's air traveling out of your mouth at all times, while your tongue will bounce off the reed. Inside our mouth, it would look a little bit like this. Ta, 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 ta. A great way to practice this is to hold your hand up in front of your mouth, and you should always feel warm air hitting the back of your hand. Ta, 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 ta. To bring this to the instrument, we're going to do exactly the same thing, but replacing the R with blowing. Without the instrument in our mouth, it would sound like this. One of the things you want to avoid is creating each new note with a new breath of air. Ta, 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 and stopping the air in between each note. We need to blow as if we're blowing one long continuous note, and our tongue is just interrupting this airstream by contacting the reed. You can even get this muscle memory into your body by just playing one long note for the amount of time you'd play this exercise. Practice this legato tonguing exercise until it's comfortable and you can hear you're getting a clear articulation on every single one of the notes. Once you've done this, you'll be well prepared for any of the other articulations that a single reed instrument could throw at you. We'll go into staccato, fast articulations, and tonguing across the entire pitch range of the instrument in other videos. I've made the entire tonguing chapter of my professional technique guide available for free as a PDF download on my website, essentialtechnique.com. If you'd like even more advanced information on tonguing, subscribe for future videos, but also check out Book 2. This is where we go into concepts like voicing, or how you would change the shape of your tongue depending on the pitch of the note you're trying to articulate. I've been Andrew from Clarinet Essential Technique. Leave any questions in the comments section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy practicing!